Hello again, this is Father Rock O'Connor. No, this is not my halo. This is the rose window here at the Church of the Jesu. Here's a moment to look at it. It is indeed wonderful. At the heart of that is the IHS, the first three letters of the word Jesus in Greek, Iota, Eta, Sigma. What I want to do is this part deux of the burden of perfectionism. I've thought about this because I've had a number of friends who are perfectionists, and I'm not burdened with that myself. I have my own stuff. But here's what I've learned. The opposite of perfection is not necessarily laxity. It's not necessarily laxity, slacking. It's not. The opposite of perfectionism is trust. Perfectionists fear laxity, but I think the real issue is about trust. And it comes down to the big C word, control. You know, everybody else is controlling, not me, right? This human issue, for some, is a large deal. And maybe their main burden that they carry in life. God bless you. So, what's the virtue of trust about? The virtue of trust, as I wrote in my book, In the Midst of Our Storms, trust orients the disciple in training toward gracious acceptance of the incompleteness of life, which has to be bolstered, supported by durable experiences of divine mercy. I think that's the only way we really get there. Disciples live in the tension between saint and sinner, between whole and incomplete, between the ideal and the real. And this reveals itself not only to us in the liturgy, but also in everyday life. Now, there's a problem with trust. I hate to break it to you, but there's a problem with trust. And here's what I think it is. If we say, I'm going to trust God, what happens? I get to encounter, hold, embrace, recognize, bear my experience of incompleteness. My experience of incompleteness leads me to anxiety, which then rolls down the road into resentment and stuff like that. I think for others, and I would suggest this for perfectionists, see if it fits, that the starting place is anger at incompleteness, and then fear and other things roll out from that. So, trusting God is a great thing, but what we don't always recognize is that we're left with ourselves. If I don't busy myself, were I a perfectionist, if I don't busy myself with try, give it the old college try all the time, then what happens, what do I do if I'm not doing that? Then I get to experience the burden of maybe fear and anger, maybe both, maybe one. And however I approach the incompleteness of my life, the incompleteness of the lives of those closest to me, the incompleteness of this whole darn world, the incompleteness really of salvation yet. Because it's a thing that's wholly given, and yet we're receiving it, hopefully in part. So please, if this is part of your walk in life, your journey, please consider seeking trust and probably at the same time courage. Both are wonderful things when we find that we can surrender ourselves to God and begin to learn to live into that trust. I'd say by holding that which is obnoxious to us, the incompleteness of life. I am going to do a third part on this piece on the burden of perfection. I'm going to talk about perfectionism. I'm going to talk about Dante and the Divine Comedy. Marvelous piece, which I recommend to you. So thank you very much, and here's a view of the Church of the Jesu with our rose window there.
Let me find